I find it interesting. I mean, ever since last week's episode, a bunch of different outlets have been pretty vocal about how they want things to go on the show, which I feel is pretty interesting because, aside from myself and other content creators, obviously we get up here, we talk about reviews and theories and how we hope things would go. But I mean, like, you got big outlets like TV Line and like the video was covering today, an article from BET.com. Hashtag free Fatima, whatever. 5 storylines for sisters that we need in our lives. These are some of the things that we wish would happen to our favorite group of girlfriends next season. But the thing is, folks, remember, season 5 is already in the books. Tyler Perry and the cast, they filmed that, what was it, March or April? Basically, season 5 is over and done with. In terms of behind the scenes, we just haven't seen it on television yet, and we probably won't until 2023. The current season, we're in season 4 B. That's going to wrap up in early August, so unless they decide to put maybe a few episodes in late 2022, I don't think we're getting the show again until 2023. The reason I say 2023, because remember, Zatima has yet to come out, and that's going to be 10 episodes on BET+. And just a quick side note, I wouldn't be surprised if all the episodes of Zatima dropped on BET+, let's say in August, that by the end of the year, maybe November or December, BET will probably play the episodes on the network. That way fans could see it prior to season 5 coming. And if they did that, that would be the biggest ratings thing they can do to help out the show. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'll do a separate video on that. But getting into the article, let's see here. Yeah, we just have a brief summary of the show. But if you're already a fan and looking forward to season 5, what would you like to see play out? For us here at BET.com, like all watchers, there are probably a few imagined scenarios in your mind that you'd love to see for the popular characters. Here's a rundown of what we want. Number 1, Maurice finds a stable boo. Maurice might as well be the sixth sister. He's Sabrina's work bestie turned real life bestie, and we get to watch a lot of his drama play out. He keeps it real with Sabrina and gives her practical advice that she doesn't follow, but he needs to follow his own intuition and rid himself of Q. That can go for a lot of the characters, not just the B tier characters or the titular characters. A lot of characters who give advice in the show don't even follow their own guidance. Okay, granted, he has been good about ignoring his advances, but Q shouldn't even be allowed to stay in his home after robbing him at gunpoint. Who does that? Anyway, it's unfortunate that Maurice still has feelings for him, but it's time to move on. Maurice definitely realizes that they'll never work, but there's still a piece of him that wants to indulge. This is a no-go. I mean, the same could be said about the whole Calvin and Sabrina thing. It's time to move on. Hell, even with Karen and Zach, or Andy and Gary, and the list goes on. What we want for Maurice is to play the field for a little bit and find a stable, sane person who is not prone to, criminal activity. I'm not going to harp on this. You all know how I feel about the Maurice and Q storyline. It's crap. Next up, Karen's baby doesn't belong to Zach or Aaron. Karen kept playing Zach. Wow. Karen kept playing Zach to the left when he got serious about her, and it came back to bite when he finally had enough of her ill treatment of him and moved on to Fatima. Unfortunately, she found out she was pregnant and believes the baby is his. Actually, she wants the baby to be his because she thinks it could be a way for them to get back together. Meanwhile, Aaron, the next man who loves her, thinks that she should actually get serious about the baby, and that's based on his timing, aka the calendar. While he makes sense to be the papa, we haven't had any DNA tests done yet because we have to wait for the baby to get here. But wouldn't it be the ultimate scandal if Karen actually got pregnant by someone who was neither Zach or Aaron? Sure, we haven't known Karen to be dealing with anyone else. Rico, but there could have been some off-camera situations happening, so this would be perfect, especially because we know everyone can't be happy on this show. But we also don't know what Aaron's calendar was. Just throwing that out there, we don't know what his calendar said. Everyone jumps Gary. We don't condone violence in real life, but it's just a TV show. It's time Gary does something so shady that it can't possibly be mistaken for him doing it out of love for Andy. What about when he bruised her ribs? I mean, obviously we know that Gary can't be trusted, but he's still in Andy's orbit, and it's time he leaves her alone. Well, okay, yeah, he needs to stop, but Andy just needs to stop playing this game as well. I mean, we already know that Fatima's crazy and Maurice got hands, so maybe the group will come together and send him a message to leave Andy alone once and for all. It doesn't matter what they do, because so long as Andy still feels something for him and entertains the idea of being together, it doesn't matter. I mean, how many times have the sisters... Hell, even Danny, like, threatened to stab him and everything. She had the knife and everything. It doesn't matter what they do. It only matters what Andy does. Number 4, Danny stops self-sabotaging. Again, not everyone can have a happy ending on the show, but it's time for Danny to realize that Preston loves her and stop sabotaging that relationship. She has done everything she can to push him away, and he still wants to be with her. She is going to mess around and end up like Karen, but we don't want that for her, or do we? I mean, that's up to Karen, and I agree, she's literally been pushing Preston away because she's for the street life. I don't know. I mean, Tyler just did the character dirty. And then the final one, okay, I actually do like this idea. Girls trip. The girls need a break and they need some bonding time despite the tension between Karen and Fatima. A girls trip might be a nice change of pace. We already know it will be full of hilarities, shenanigans, and fine men that they can forget about once the trip is over. Yeah, but, I mean, aside from Zach and Fatima, the other women are single, so, I mean, that would be a cool Sistas idea for a movie, but, yeah. So that's really it. That's all the article has to say. I'll leave a link to the article in the comment section below, and you let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Like, what do you think of this list? Do you agree with all these? And, like I said, Season 5 is in the books, and from what I can tell, none of these things actually will come to light. Q's still around. Zach and Aaron get into a fight, probably Karen related. Gary's still in the picture. Danny's going to be dating someone who's an abuser. And I don't think there's going to be a girls trip. So, thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the like button. Hit subscribe. Follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. And I'll catch you in the next one.